So I got my scan results back today. Not the results necessarily, but the images. Um, because I asked for them. Because it's always hard to decide, like, do I want to wait until my doctor's appointment a week and a half later to like get the bad news when I'm like in a public place and like I have to get myself home or be driven home and like walk through a building like with everyone staring at me and stuff, or like would I rather like process the bad results on my own at home and then like I just know what's coming at the appointment and I can like get myself ready for it. So I decided to take a look at the images. I know that I'm obviously not a doctor, so I can't necessarily read what the images say, but there's fairly obvious things in a PET scan that you know that if there's a big bright spot, it's probably not going to be like the best day for you. So on my last PET scan, I had a few bright spots, but like some of them it was unclear whether they were breaks on my bones or whether they were mets. There was one quite bright spot on my rib, and it had stopped hurting, so I thought, well, maybe it's not gonna be bad anymore. But unfortunately, on this scan, there were several bright spots on ribs. I'm not even sure if they're the same ribs that lit up on the last scan. On the last scan, it was suggested from the PET scan that there might be a met on my cervical spine, so my neck, and there is. And if my neck fractures, then obviously, like, it's pretty bad because I could be paralyzed, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do about that. It's C5. And then it looks like T6 has a new met in it too. And then last time on my scan, I had noticed some bright spots in my iliac bone and around my hip joint, and there's more now and they're worse. It looks like there might be something on my tailbone as well. Again, I just feel like I'm giving up. Like, the only way that I can live and like be happy is to live in denial and to tell myself that I'm gonna get better and that maybe we're gonna like find the right treatment that's gonna give me a long time, or maybe we're gonna it's gonna just like get better on its own. And sometimes I just live in like complete denial because it's the only way that I can live. But when I get results like this, I know that that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna spontaneously get better. And the only real treatments that work super well for cancer that's estrogen positive are Ibrance and the hormone drugs, and neither of those have worked at all for me. I started off this year last April with one met in my sacrum, and I now probably have like between 15 and 20 mets in my body that have either been radiated, some of them, and some of them have not been radiated and they're still there. So it's obviously like not worked at all, and I actually feel like it was a misstep on the part of my doctor to suggest that I stay on it after the last scan. There's also something that kind of looks like an area of hypermetabolic activity in my lung, but I have had ground glass opacity for about 2 years now because of the radiation they did on my chest. So I'm not sure if that's just the ground glass opacity because it is on the right hand side, where you would expect the ground glass opacity to be, and I think I can kind of see it on the other scans too. I have had a cough for about a month now, so that's really worrying. Now for options, like I guess my option is Zolota, and honestly, I don't feel great about the options that are left, and I feel really frustrated about them as well. I guess if I have the PIK3A mutation, I can choose, or I could try Piqray. I haven't heard wonderful things about it, and I've actually had a couple friends who went on the drug, and the side effects were so bad that they decided that they would actually prefer to just not have Piqray as an option because, they get full blown diabetes on it. The majority of the people that I've known who went on it have gotten full blown type 1 diabetes within like a few weeks of being on it. I don't know if my life's really worth being tortured like that to like stay alive when really all my life is now is like getting 3-month updates on like how quickly I'm dying. As for clinical trials, like as far as I can tell, I don't have any mets in my liver, and I don't know if I have some in my lungs, but it doesn't look like it. But obviously I'm not a doctor. I could get worse news at the time of the appointment and I could end up having it in my lungs as well. until I have soft tissue mets, I actually can't be in a lot of trials. And also, due to my rheumatoid arthritis, I'm really limited in which trials I can be in. So I'm just like not feeling very hopeful. And like, really, the only way I can keep myself going is to tell myself that I'll get my life back one day, and that maybe one day I'll like have control over what happens again. But in reality, this is probably the end of my life. And I just feel like a forgotten broken toy, like thrown in the corner, like, to be honest, because um I know that mammograms aren't a cure, but I feel like if I had been screened, like, there might have been a chance that I would have survived. And it's like so frustrating knowing that as a younger woman, like, I didn't get those screens, and now I'm gonna lose like 50 life years and be psychologically tortured like this until my death. And then I'm gonna just die, like, probably, if it goes to certain places, like a pretty shitty death. And I'm gonna do that in my 30s. And like, I wanted to be a mom so bad. But so far, the entire time that I've been a mom, pretty much, other than the first 7 months, I've been dealing with this, and it's not a lot of fun, and it's just been like heartbreaking. And I want to be like a great mom to Violet, but sometimes, like, I can't handle going through this and, kind of compartmentalize like my own death so that I can like be a good mom to her as well. So that's the update.